Hey everyone, this is Jasmine, aka Gladiatorinsweats, and I want to say thank you and welcome to all the new and returning subscribers. So, hey everyone, hope y'all are doing alright and that this reaches y'all well. I just wanted to bring a small message for the collective for this full moon in Cancer. I've been talking quite a bit about these current energies this week, so I don't really feel like I have to go over too much or really share anything that I haven't already really shared. But I guess I did want to talk a little bit more about, the things that we're avoiding and really these things that, as we're looking at these full moons as these releases and these renewal points and, as these grand moltings as I am coming to feel them. I also want to talk about, these things that maybe we've been avoiding, especially like in resonance with all that I've been talking about in my past videos of us having to really recognize these things, not even just these messages, but these really these glaring truths I feel that have been making themselves more known, more aware for us as we're talking about this whole concept of expanded consciousness. And I know that can sound maybe very woo woo for some people, but it's not even having to be very woo woo. It's, when we're trying to see how this applies in our practical life, as I've been talking about it, even on my Instagram page, our expanded awareness and consciousness is even, the awareness of how we become more perceptive of the things that not necessarily just bother us, but we're of our true feelings of certain matters and of the true, messages that are coming through our feelings and through our body, through, whatever, through our mind, all the things that, that we feel, but we often try to block them out or tone them out or not even try to, maybe after, a long time of having these practices of essentially dulling our senses in order to survive, or, doing these things that we felt we had to do in order to survive in this world. And so, yeah, as I've just been talking about this whole vulnerability sort of aspect to, being more authentic to ourselves and how this actually manifest and really how it is that we actually activate this in our own life, in our own relationships. So, all of this to say, it really brought me to wanting to ask for the collective, what is it that we're most avoiding? Because, as I've been talking about it, it's these, these messages, these truths that we're coming to be aware of, not just be aware of, but really truly integrate. So we're able to really move from new perceptions or really move from new paradigms. So, what is it that we're avoiding? What is it that we're not really seeing or paying attention to? But I feel like it's not even necessarily about a paying attention to, but more so, what is it we're trying to ignore? So, the card that I did pull, if, of course you can see the photo, is this Jaguar card. And it did come up in reverse. So, I mean, I always honor the reversal cards, but as soon as it came up, I just had this, I knew it. Because, first off, this card is about integrity and impeccability. And so, this is really the heart of what I've been talking about. When we're talking about authenticity and when we're talking about, taking our power back and what this looks like for us in our lives and, how this is activating in our life, through these moments of us, having to stand our ground, regardless of what we feel that we may lose in the process. So, I actually do want to read the paragraph and the passage from the medicine cards for this card because, it's just pretty much what I've been talking about and it's succinct. And so, yeah, let's just go ahead and read it. So you may have created an enlightenment trap for yourself. Has the misuse of authority kept you from walking your path with impeccability? Have you betrayed your personal integrity to accommodate others? Are you engaged in some activity that lessens your potential? If so, call your spirit or energy back Integrity requires a forgiving and open heart. Compassion and mercy are also needed. Self-blame or pointing fingers at others only show your own lack of integrity. I mean, I just wanted to even stop there because I feel like, and even then, like, I don't even want to make this like a whole blame game or like, this is never about anyone being right or wrong or anything, but I always just want to try and really be all encompassing of like what we're not just going through, but what this really means, especially when we're talking about taking our energy back and, cutting ties from, certain people or, habits or places, all of these sorts of things. And why it's important for us to move with a frequency and energy of compassion while doing this. It's not over some frou-frou stuff. It's really, it is about the whole underlying truth of oneness, of us all being connected in that way. But it's also because, as it said, it only shows your own lack of integrity. And coming back to that is really always about this idea of, using our power, using our authority, using our dogma as some sort of way or leverage of like being better than people. It always comes back to this sense of wanting to be better than someone. And so for me, this card, the Jaguar, even to me, is about, it's not even about not having a sense of authority or a sense of leadership. But it's more so to me about, it's innate, and it's something that doesn't have to be forced. It does not have to be extravagantly displayed in order to validate that power. It's just it's an innate being. It's not something that has to. It's just within the grace of the Jaguar that it carries that energy. I hope I'm really getting it across that, especially as, we're talking about this inner authority and we're really talking about standing our ground. It's a refined energy of our ego. We're really refining the edges of our, our character and our personality so that we are standing in our integrity. We're being honest. We're being authentic, and not from a place of shame or guilt, or from a wanting to be better than, from, even that is, all of these are from these places of insecurity. We're wanting to, and not even just wanting, but because of this collective desire, we're ushering in and really moving into this like physical phase of us really building this up for ourselves and experiencing this for ourselves. So I just want to finish up the paragraph, and then, yeah, I think that'll pretty much be it. So, the Jaguar here also warns you to correct any need to control others, any abuses or influence, any form of manipulation, moralistic judgments, dishonesty, hidden agendas, envy, greed, or victim-like jealousy that may be affecting your life. I even just want to pause there because there's a lot there, and it's not even just a lot there, but it's all just resonant with what I've been talking about, like this whole, there's pretty much this whole couple of months of pretty much from the eclipse season and cycle of not of us just removing these forms of manipulation from other people, because again, like, I feel like it can be easy enough, and we have so much practice in projection and recognizing, other people and how we feel about other people. But I feel like, again, we can even recognize this for ourselves. And I'll go ahead and just read those parts again, just so we can really be honest about ourselves, really have an honest, like, inventory, honest review of ourselves and our beliefs, and the way that we, it's not even just like a behave, but like, the way in which we really carry ourselves, the frequency that we hold when we do talk to other people, when we do, have conflict, whenever, any of these situations. But yeah, just to go and read that part again. Jaguar always warns you to correct any need to control others, any abuses any abuses of influence, any form of manipulation, moralistic judgments, dishonesty, hidden agendas, envy, greed, or victim-like jealousy. So ultimately it boils down to a transparency that I would say most of us are not really practicing or embodying on like a regular basis. So that's really what I feel like this is ultimately about, is we've been just really avoiding this. And as much as I feel like we even can talk about these veils of illusion, and the things that we feel are hidden from us, within society, or, by our government, or, authorities that be, again, I feel like these are the things that maybe get, I don't even want to say overlooked, but like when we keep wanting to deflect from the self, the ego, which essentially is really good at that, being able to like throw you to looking at anything other than itself. I feel like, again, we're having to look at the ways in which we are embodying these energies ourselves, and the ways in which we, are not being transparent. And this happens all the time. This isn't even so much about some super malicious sort of behavior. And I feel like we have this idea that, or we like to have this idea that we don't have these energies ourselves. But, this is also about those times where we give a essentially phony response because, we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. Essentially the times where we, just all these things where even they've become a lot of even social cliches and jokes about the things that we do in order to kind of let people know that we are not available, or we don't want to talk to them, but we're not willing to actually say that. Like, it's really about having to unpack those types of things too, about that type of lack of transparency, for, to keep it simple, because again, this covers a lot of stuff. Moralistic judgments, the way in which, again, we feel like we have to be right or wrong, and we even use that to like batter people, and to not even just judge them, but to essentially try and categorize them as, less than us, or at least we are better than, these kinds of people or whatever. So like, as I've been talking about, even within the White Castle, the White Northern Castle video of this like really plutonic initiation, I feel like, again, it's about this, like, we're really having this grand equalizing sort of moment, and not just like a day thing, but I really feel like that's really this moment that's really taking place, as we're really breaking down a lot of these paradigms, where it's not just about us like shape shifting and keep on moving from like one different sort of dual kind of concept to another. I feel like we're having to really shatter it by being even very truthful, open, honest with our own hearts, in that way too. So yeah, as I said, I will finish this up. So if you have slipped, allowing a temporary lapse in impeccability to compromise your integrity. Oh, hold on, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Oh, okay. If you have slipped, allowing a temporary lapse in impeccability to compromise your integrity, you need to rectify your misdeeds. Jaguar reminds us, become impeccable, use integrity, and you will thrive. And so, yeah, as we've been talking about this feeling like a grand review of us getting the opportunities to rewrite a lot of our scripts, rewriting a lot of the ways in which we've told our stories to ourselves, the collective stories we've told, all of this stuff, where it really takes a really honest and transparent look, and not just that, but of our feeling into it. Because again, with this transition of us moving out of this whole right and wrong and really feeling into things, into the being more of this, not very tangible, very, magical, what, for lack of a better term, sort of field or territory for a lot of us that maybe are just much more with the, the physical. This is where we're having to release a lot of our beliefs, or release a lot of our concepts and our attachments. And as I was even talking in my Instagram, of really moving past belief, we're really having to break out of these ideas of what we feel has to be a certain way. Really moving into a much more dynamic energy as opposed to static. So yeah, to keep myself from rambling, I guess I'll just end it there with that. As far as what it is that the collective has been avoiding, and what it is that we're really, really facing head on within these moments, really within a lot of these, what we can label as like tower moments, what we can label as these conflicts and confrontations, which I feel I guess you can technically call fated, divine, appointed conflicts, so that we're able to break free in whatever ways that we really need to. So I think that's pretty much it. I do kind of have a thought of wanting to do cards for the signs, but every time I keep wanting to do cards for the signs, my messages get just really long for each of the signs, and then I don't end up having time to record all the signs. So maybe I'll do like an end of 2018 like video for the signs or something like that. I've been really just wanting to do something like that, but yeah, that's just, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Regardless, thank you guys so much for tuning in, for supporting my channel, and for being here with me. I really truly love each and every one of you guys, and I really just appreciate having other people on this journey with me and being able to share our experiences. And yeah, just especially like as things have been picking up, and I know 2019 is just going to be really interesting. Like, I mean, it's easy to say exciting, but I guess I'm just more just interested because I just don't know what to expect. And I feel that's kind of the attitude to go into this with, as opposed to really wanting to have an idea or a really designated outcome. Because as I said in my live, I feel like this is much more of a feeling oriented sort of move, as opposed to things being based on an outcome. So yeah, until the next video, which is hopefully sometime soon, much love and many blessings, y'all. Peace.